In a dramatic turn of events that stunned international observers, 250 Venezuelans had been locked up in one of the El Salvador's most feared prisons. Well, they are finally sent back to Venezuela, and that too in a deal that saw the release of 10 Americans held in Venezuela. Let me tell you, this is not just another prisoner swap, it's a very complex political and human rights story involving the United States, El Salvador, and Venezuela, filled with secrecy, power play, and international diplomacy. So let's break it down. Months ago, the Trump administration quietly flew over 250 Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador, sending them directly to Sicot, a very high security mega prison designed to hold violent criminals and gang members. Well, these migrants were accused without any solid evidence of being part of a group. The group is called Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan gang. But here's the twist. Well, they were not given court hearing, legal rights, or even allowed to call their families. So the question is, why were they sent there? Donald Trump used wartime powers, emergency authority that's rarely invoked, to bypass the US legal system and deport these migrants without any trial. And El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele agreed to take them in exchange for millions of dollars in the US aid. The prisoners were held in a near total isolation in the prison, which is often criticized by human rights groups for harsh conditions and lack of transparency. Their families were left in the dark. No phone calls, no update, no proof of life. Now fast forward to this particular week, then 2 planes touched down in Venezuela, and on boards were these migrants. Finally, they were free. President Nicolas Maduro was very happy. At a public event, he shouted, "Free, free at last," and thanked Donald Trump personally for helping to end what he called a totally irregular situation. But freedom came at a price. In exchange, Venezuela released 10 Americans detained in their prison, some for even a year. According to reports, some of them were accused of spying, while others were caught in political turmoil. One of the freed Americans was Lucas Hunter. Lucas was reportedly kidnapped by Venezuelan border guards while vacationing in Colombia. In the meantime, the US also assured the release of an unknown number of political prisoners from Venezuelan jails. Well, critics of the Maduro's regime, who had been locked up for speaking out. In the meantime, many human rights groups condemned the way the Venezuelans were detained in El Salvador. No charges, no evidence, no trials, just accusations and months in a prison built for hardened gangsters. Well, in another part of the story, a separate flight from Houston landed in Caracas, carrying 244 more Venezuelans, including 7 children. In the meantime, Venezuela say that these children were rescued from being left behind in the US when their parents were deported. In total, more than 8,200 Venezuelans have been deported from the US and Mexico since February, many of them stuck in limbo, trying to reach America for a better life. You know why this matters? Because this particular incident raises important questions about how far governments will go for political deals and what human rights really means in these negotiations. It also shows the growing cooperation between the Trump administration and authoritarian leaders like Bukele, even when critics accuse them of human rights violation. In the meantime, Venezuela's government claimed that it paid a heavy price for its citizens, swapping what it calls terrorists for innocent. But was this truly justice or just diplomacy at its most ruthless? As the dust settles, families are reuniting, children are hugging their mothers, and loved ones are finally back home. But the bigger question remains: who decides who's guilty, who deserves a trial, and what happens when human lives become bargaining chip on the global stage? This isn't just a prisoner swap, this is a story about power, politics, and the people caught in between.